It was a cool morning in Austin, Texas, a city known for its mix of modern culture and old traditions. The streets were busy with traffic, and local coffee shops were filled with people getting ready for the day. But none of this mattered to the guests at the famous Grand Austin Hotel. They were here for an event that would grab attention across the country. Elon Musk, one of the most talked-about people in the world, was no stranger to the spotlight. Whether through his work with SpaceX, Tesla, or Twitter, he was always in the news. But today his visit to Austin was special. It was not just a business trip. The press was watching closely because he was set to give a keynote speech at a tech summit. The Grand Austin, with its shiny marble floors and beautiful chandeliers, was hosting the event. As Elon entered the hotel lobby, reporters and event staff gathered around the entrance, ready to capture every moment. Sunlight streamed through the large windows, creating long shadows on the polished floor. As usual, Elon looked calm and focused as he walked toward the check-in desk. His iconic Maga hat firmly on his head, the red cap with white letters had become more than just a symbol of political belief. For some, it stood for freedom of speech, while for others, it symbolized division. The receptionist, a young woman named Chloe, looked up from her computer when Elon approached. She smiled politely, but there was a hint of tension in her eyes as she noticed his hat. She had seen it on television during protests and debates. Chloe wasn't sure how to react, but she knew she had to follow the rules. "Good morning, Mr. Musk," Chloe greeted, her voice steady but cautious. "Welcome to the Grand Austin. How may I assist you today?" Elon flashed his signature grin and pulled out his identification and reservation details. "I'm here for the summit. The keynote's this afternoon," he said confidently. Chloe took the information, her fingers hovering over the keyboard as she typed. After a brief pause, she hesitated and looked at the hat again. "I'm sorry, Mr. Musk," she said softly. "I'll need to ask you to remove your hat before we can check you in." Elon raised an eyebrow, clearly surprised. "Excuse me?" Chloe felt uneasy, but she had been trained for moments like this. Still, nothing had prepared her for this. "It's part of our dress code policy, Mr. Musk," she explained. "We strive to maintain a certain image here at the Grand Austin, and unfortunately, we cannot allow hats like that in the lobby," Chloe explained. There was a brief silence. Elon didn't react right away, his expression neutral, but a small smile seemed to form at the corner of his lips. He could feel the tension in the room. The journalists who had been quietly watching stopped talking, waiting to see what would happen. They expected a story, but not this one. Elon took a step back, looking at Chloe and considering the hotel's policies. The moment seemed to stretch on, with his calm attitude contrasting with the rising anxiety in the room. Then, slowly and deliberately, he removed the hat and held it in his hands. But instead of doing what Chloe expected, he did something completely unexpected. "I'll tell you what," Elon said, his voice calm, almost too calm. "Why don't I just take this little incident to social media? I'm sure the world will love hearing about it." Chloe blinked, unsure if he was joking. She had dealt with famous guests before, but nothing like this. The idea of public backlash from someone like Elon Musk was the last thing she expected. Before she could respond, he was already pulling out his phone, quickly typing a message. Within minutes, his tweet was live. "Checked into the Grand Austin Hotel, but apparently my Maga hat isn't welcome here. This is the world we live in now. Freedom of speech." The room went silent. Chloe stood there, unsure of what to do next, as a group of reporters crowded around her. Cameras clicked, capturing every moment. Elon didn't wait for the hotel's response. With one last glance at the reception desk, he turned and walked to the elevator. As he headed to his room, he felt the weight of the situation. This wasn't just about checking into a hotel anymore. It was turning into something much bigger, something that could change how people viewed freedom of expression in public spaces, but no one knew what would happen next. The tweet had been live for only 5 minutes when the floodgates opened. Elon Musk sat in his luxury suite on the top floor of the Grand Austin Hotel, looking out over the city below. His phone buzzed constantly, with notifications flooding in from all over the world. His Twitter followers exploded in response. Thousands of retweets and tens of thousands of comments. The digital world had gone into chaos, with people sharing their opinions. On one side, many defended Elon, praising him for standing up for freedom of speech. They applauded his refusal to follow corporate rules. To them, the hat was just a symbol, one of many political expressions, but this one was impossible to ignore. For Elon's supporters, wearing the Maga hat wasn't just about politics, it was personal. To them, it was a sign of rebellion against what they felt were societal restrictions. On the other hand, there were many who were outraged. They saw Elon's tweet as just another act of a powerful billionaire with too much influence and no responsibility. They believed his supporters spread hate and division. How could Elon not understand the harm such a symbol caused? How could he not see the disrespect it carried? The situation quickly turned from a hotel issue to a much bigger topic. News outlets picked up the story, running headlines like "Elon Musk refused hotel check-in over Maga hat." As more people shared their opinions, the line between politics and personal freedom blurred. The world was now watching to see how the hotel would react. Back at the hotel, the staff was in chaos. The public relations team rushed to handle the fallout, but couldn't keep up with how fast the story spread. Chloe, the receptionist who had first confronted Elon, was now the focus of an online storm. Her face was all over news sites and social media, and her professionalism was being questioned. The hotel's management was stuck. They had always enforced a policy to keep a certain atmosphere at the Grand Austin, but now they had alienated one of the most influential people in the world, which could cost them millions. They had to make a decision quickly. In his suite, Elon watched everything unfold with a smile, knowing this would happen. When you're someone like him, who often makes headlines, it's hard to avoid. But what surprised him was how quickly things escalated. What should have been a minor issue had turned into a full-blown crisis. He tweeted again, each message making the situation worse. Sad to see a hotel with such a prestigious reputation turn away guests based on political expression. I guess freedom of speech isn't for everyone. Sad. Injustice. By the time he hit send, the media had caught on to the bigger picture. People weren't just mad at the hotel anymore. They were questioning larger issues in society. Was this about a dress code or something deeper? Was this a stand for freedom of expression, or just another form of control dressed as civility? A few minutes later, Elon's phone rang. It was his public relations team. "Elon," the voice on the other end said, "we're getting flooded with messages. The story is blowing up. The hotel is trying to handle the situation, but it's clear they don't know how to respond. They're trying to figure out what to do next." Elon leaned back in his chair and looked out at the Austin skyline. He knew this moment would come. He knew the reaction would be big, but he didn't expect the conversation to get so deep. For once, it wasn't just about him or his companies. It was about something bigger. "Let them sweat it out," Elon replied with a playful grin on his face. "Let's see where this goes. But I've got an idea. I'll handle it." Before the PR team could say anything, he hung up. Elon wasn't going to wait for the hotel to make a decision. He wasn't going to let the media control the story. He quickly opened his laptop and began drafting another tweet. This one more calculated and direct. "If the Grand Austin Hotel doesn't want to welcome people who wear Maga hats, maybe I should buy it. I could use a place that actually supports freedom of expression," Elon tweeted, adding the hashtag #ChangeTheSystem. It was a bold move, one that would send shockwaves through the media. The thought of Musk, with his immense wealth, buying a well-known hotel chain seemed outrageous. But in the world of Elon Musk, nothing was too outrageous. Within minutes, the tweet went live. Another bombshell in the unfolding drama. The press would definitely pick up on this next. After all, the idea of a billionaire buying a hotel simply because he was refused entry for wearing a hat was the kind of headline that practically wrote itself. Meanwhile, the hotel was spiraling. Behind closed doors, executives were scrambling to figure out how to respond. But the damage had already been done. The hours following Elon's tweet were a whirlwind of chaos for the Grand Austin Hotel. What started as a minor incident at check-in had quickly turned into an international controversy. Media coverage was relentless, with news stories breaking every few minutes, each one adding fuel to the fire. Musk's supporters rallied behind him, some even launching online petitions in his favor. Others took to social media to condemn the hotel's actions. The hashtag #BoycottGrandAustin trended worldwide. What started as a simple disagreement had turned into a battleground over a much larger issue: the balance between corporate policies and individual freedoms. Inside the hotel's corporate offices, executives were in full crisis mode. The public relations team was scrambling to handle the fallout. The public relations team, which had initially hoped to keep the situation under control, now found themselves on the defensive. They never expected that refusing to check in a guest over something as seemingly trivial as a hat would escalate into such a firestorm. "We need a statement now," Linda Davis, the head of PR, barked into her phone, pacing back and forth in the conference room. The tension in the room was palpable. "Get legal involved, but don't make it sound like we're backing down. We can't afford to lose face in front of the public." At the head of the table, the hotel's general manager, Richard Simmons, sat with his hands tightly clasped. "We've always had policies about dress codes," he said, his voice trembling. "It's about the image we project to our guests. But this is bigger than that. We need to figure out how to navigate this. Musk's worth billions, and if he's really serious about buying the hotel, we could be looking at losing everything." The idea of a billionaire swooping in to purchase their prestigious hotel chain was, to say the least, unsettling. The Grand Austin had worked hard to build its reputation, and the possibility of losing it all was now a very real concern. The Grand Austin Hotel had built its reputation over decades, attracting celebrities, diplomats, and influential business leaders. The last thing they needed was a hostile takeover over something as petty as a political statement. But as the hours passed, it became clear the damage was already done. People from all walks of life, regular citizens, celebrities, and even politicians, had taken sides. Some hailed Musk as a hero for challenging the status quo, while others accused him of using his platform to push a divisive political agenda. The debate had long surpassed a simple hotel policy. Meanwhile, Chloe, the receptionist who had first confronted Musk, found herself caught in the middle of the storm. Her phone had been blowing up all day with messages from friends, family, and even strangers. Most were angry, questioning why she had enforced such a policy on one of the world's most influential figures. Some supported, others harshly critical. She tried to defend her actions, claiming she was just following hotel policy. But nothing she said seemed to matter. She couldn't shake the feeling of pressure weighing down on her. What had started as a simple request to remove a hat had quickly spiraled into something that affected her career, personal life, and sense of identity. The hotel's upper management, desperate to control the situation, held a meeting later that evening. The pressure was mounting, and it was clear that a decision had to be made quickly. "We can't let this escalate any further," Linda, the PR head, said, her voice tight with tension. "We need to find a way to publicly apologize, but we also have to stand our ground. If we back down entirely, we'll look weak." Richard gazed out the window at the glowing lights of Austin, deep in thought. He understood that the hotel's reputation was on the line, but what if Musk had a point? What if they were prioritizing the image they projected over allowing free expression? "We need to find a balance," he said quietly. "We'll release a statement saying we've taken the feedback seriously. We'll emphasize that our dress code is designed to create a sophisticated atmosphere, but we also respect everyone's right to express their beliefs. We won't apologize for upholding our policies, but we'll review them moving forward." The statement was carefully drafted, reviewed by legal experts, and then posted on the hotel's website and social media. It read, "We regret the misunderstanding earlier today involving one of our guests at the Grand Austin Hotel. We deeply value our guests' right to express themselves. However, we also strive to maintain an environment that reflects the high standards and professional image our patrons expect. We will be reviewing our dress code policy to ensure it aligns with our commitment to inclusiveness and respect for all." As soon as the statement went live, the reactions were mixed. Some saw it as a necessary attempt at damage control, while others felt it was too little too late. The hotel had attempted to find a middle ground, but the response lacked the apology or recognition needed to calm Musk's supporters. Meanwhile, Elon Musk, ever the media strategist, was ready with his own response. "I guess the Grand Austin is finally learning about free speech, but it's too little, too late," he tweeted. "Maybe I should give them a lesson on inclusivity as I change the system." Maga. The public backlash grew stronger, with calls for a boycott not only of the Grand Austin but the entire hotel chain. Celebrities and influencers weighed in, using their platforms to either criticize the hotel or support Musk's call for freedom of expression. It quickly became clear to the hotel's executives that the situation had spiraled out of their control. What they had hoped would be a small dispute had turned into a full-blown national debate about corporate control, political expression, and public spaces. The next morning, the world was still abuzz with the fallout. Musk's tweet had gone viral, spreading across social media platforms, news outlets, and even TV channels. What had started as a simple refusal to check in had exploded into a global controversy, and it was far from over. The next chapter was just beginning. What had started as a simple disagreement had now escalated into a full-blown media firestorm. Following the hotel's lukewarm apology, tensions were at their peak. The online debate continued to split public opinion, with some defending corporate policies and others rallying behind Musk's stance on free speech and personal expression. But what no one anticipated was Musk's next move. Sitting in his penthouse suite, phone in hand, Elon scanned the flood of comments pouring in. His eyes narrowed as his mind began to calculate his next step in this unpredictable game. It was no longer just about a hat. It was about freedom, expression, and challenging a system he believed was stifling people's voices. And then it hit him. He wasn't going to let this situation fizzle out with a tweet, a statement, or even a call for boycotts. He was about to take things to a whole new level. He ended up arrested and fined. Musk had mastered the art of business and influence for years, but now he was ready to take it to an entirely new level. With a few quick taps, Elon opened Twitter and sent out another tweet, bold, direct, and designed to grab attention. "I'm considering buying the Grand Austin Hotel. It's clear the current owners don't understand what inclusivity and freedom really mean. Maybe it's time for a change. Let's create a place where freedom of expression is celebrated. Who's with me?" The tweet went viral. People were stunned. The idea of a billionaire like Musk taking over a luxury hotel chain simply because he had been refused service over a hat was audacious, yet incredibly powerful. Media outlets quickly picked up the story, transforming Musk's words into a headline that reverberated around the globe. This wasn't just a tweet anymore. It was a declaration. Musk had made it clear. He wasn't just fighting for his right to wear a hat. He was asserting his right to control his narrative and, by extension, influence the world around him. The Grand Austin Hotel, a symbol of luxury and exclusivity, was now at the center of a global debate. The hotel's management, struggling to maintain control, found themselves in a precarious position. The possibility of Musk purchasing the hotel wasn't a joke anymore. It was a legitimate threat. For the hotel executives, the idea of a hostile takeover was absurd on the surface, but in the world of Elon Musk, nothing seemed impossible. Faced with the escalating storm, they had no choice but to respond. "We're exploring all options to address the situation." The hotel's CEO, Amanda Livingston, addressed the growing situation with a public statement. "We have taken Elon Musk's comments seriously and will consider his proposal. We believe in freedom of expression and inclusivity, but we must also balance that with the luxury and brand standards our guests expect." But Musk wasn't done yet. In a press conference the following day, he took things even further. Standing before a crowd of reporters, cameras flashing all around him, he appeared every bit the businessman who had already made up his mind. "I'm offering to purchase the Grand Austin Hotel," Musk said, his voice calm but firm. "When I do, we will change the culture. No more corporate policies that stifle personal expression. It's time for a new kind of hotel, one that truly respects its guests, no matter their background or political views." The media erupted. Headlines blared with variations of "Elon Musk offers to buy hotel amid controversy" and "Musk's bold plan to revolutionize the hotel industry." The worlds of business, politics, and media collided in a stunning twist as Musk's influence loomed larger over the situation. For the hotel's management, this was no longer just a PR crisis. It was the possibility of losing control over one of their most iconic properties. The Grand Austin was an institution in Austin, and Musk's acquisition could send shockwaves through the entire luxury hotel industry. But what would this mean for the hotel's freedom? A place where political expression and personal identity were celebrated? Or would it transform into a battleground for division, where every guest would have to pick a side? Elon wasn't worried about the fallout. In fact, he saw it as a golden opportunity. Known for his bold moves, this one felt different. It wasn't just about acquiring a hotel. It was about sending a message that personal freedom, political expression, and corporate policies didn't have to be in conflict. He believed change could come from within, and this was his moment to prove it. As the media swirled around him and the public waited with bated breath, Musk stood firm in his resolve. The world was about to witness something extraordinary, something that could reshape how people viewed corporate responsibility, personal expression, and the power of one individual to spark real change. But, as with everything Musk did, it was going to be a wild ride, and no one knew where it would end. The weeks following Musk's announcement to purchase the Grand Austin Hotel were filled with intense media coverage, public opinion battles, and heated debates on social platforms. What had started as a simple interaction at the front desk had turned into a global spectacle, touching on issues far bigger than just the political hat. Free speech, corporate responsibility, personal freedom, and inclusivity. The hotel's management, shaken by the whirlwind, was beginning to feel the full impact of Musk's bold statements. The Grand Austin, once known for its sophisticated atmosphere and elitist reputation, found itself at the center of a national debate. It was no longer just a hotel. It had become a symbol of either maintaining the status quo or embracing change, personal freedom, and expression. But Musk's decision to purchase the hotel was not without consequences. The media had a field day with the idea of a billionaire buying a prestigious hotel chain to reshape its policies. Some saw it as a victory for personal liberty, while others questioned the implications of allowing someone with such power to impose their will on an institution that had once been known for elegance, exclusivity, and luxury. Was this the dawn of a new corporate era where freedom of expression reigned supreme, or was it an attempt to consolidate more power in the hands of a few? Musk's campaign continued to draw mixed reactions. Supporters hailed his stand for individual rights, while critics warned about the potential dangers of such sweeping changes. They argued that if one person could alter an entire corporate culture with a single tweet, what stopped other powerful individuals from shaping entire industries according to their personal beliefs? In the weeks that followed, Musk made good on his promise. The deal to purchase the Grand Austin was finalized and the transformation began. The hotel's iconic lobby, with its polished marble floors and grand chandeliers, remained the same at first glance, but there was a new energy in the air. New management, hand-picked by Musk, began to implement changes meant to shake up the old way of doing things. When gone were the strict dress codes and policies that excluded political expression. Guests were encouraged to wear whatever made them feel comfortable, whether it was a political hat, a t-shirt, or an outfit expressing their personal style. Chloe, the receptionist who had first refused Musk's check-in, remained with the new management, albeit in a different role. She was given the chance to help implement the cultural shift, something she never imagined herself doing. It was awkward at first, but as time passed, she began to see the power of the changes they were making. Guests now felt free to express their beliefs without fear of judgment or exclusion. They felt heard, they felt welcomed. But not everyone was happy with these changes. Regular patrons, accustomed to the hotel's high standards and exclusivity, began to question whether the new direction would tarnish the Grand Austin's reputation. Some stopped booking rooms altogether, citing the hotel's new policies as too liberal for their tastes. Others took to social media, accusing Musk of turning the hotel into a circus. But those who remained loyal appreciated the newfound freedom. They embraced the shift toward personal empowerment and the sense that they could now express themselves authentically. However, the most surprising development came when Musk himself made a rare appearance at the hotel. Standing in the newly revamped lobby, he took in the changes he had set in motion. His eyes reflected a mixture of pride and uncertainty as he observed the guests coming and going. Some dressed in suits, others in casual wear, with political slogans proudly displayed. Musk felt the weight of what he had done. He had shaken an institution that had stood for decades as a symbol of high society, and in doing so, he had sparked a broader conversation about corporate control and individual freedoms. Yet as he gazed at the faces of those now comfortable in the space, a deep sense of satisfaction washed over him. He had done what he believed was right, even if it had cost him. The world was changing, and whether for better or worse, he had made his mark. In the months that followed, the debate raged on. The Grand Austin Hotel became a microcosm of the larger cultural battle unfolding across the nation. Was it a victory for personal expression, or had Musk's actions set a dangerous precedent? Was the hotel now a place where anyone could feel at home, or had it lost the exclusivity that had made it so sought after? In the end, the story of Elon Musk and the Grand Austin Hotel was not just about a disagreement over a Maga hat. It was about the complex relationship between individual rights and corporate power. It was about how far a company should go in enforcing policies that reflect its brand and image, and whether that image can ever be truly inclusive without losing its core essence. And perhaps most importantly, it was about the price of freedom. Musk's bold stand had irrevocably changed the hotel, but as the world moved forward, the question remained: how much change is too much, and at what cost? The aftermath of the Grand Austin saga became a case study in the limits of corporate authority, personal expression, and the power of a single individual to reshape the world around them. Whether viewed as a success or a cautionary tale, it left an indelible mark on the conversation about freedom in a society increasingly dominated by the power of corporations and the wealthy. Elon Musk had won the battle for the Grand Austin Hotel, but the war for personal freedom and expression had only just begun.